Welcome to Continuity Drift, Rope Messaging. I'm working on a novel, but I'm also just maybe gonna play a little bit of music in between to start. Hopefully I'll be able to see if anyone joins chat, but I do not really expect that to happen. Kind of in the mood to play a little guitar before I start writing. That's alright. Death Cab for Cutie song. Doesn't sound right, does it? Excuse me while I tune my guitar. Hope everyone is doing well. Everyone, all of the people. I could be playing poker right now, but I feel like I lost enough money already today with crypto. Adult gambling. My microphone is low. There. Okay. Seems like everything is a little flat. Close enough, huh? Someday you will die, but I will be close behind. Follow you into the dark. No blinding light, tunnels to gates of white. Just our hands clasped so tight, waiting for the hint of a spark. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs. So if there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, I'll follow you into the dark. Catholic schools, vicious as Roman rule. I got my knuckles bruised by a lady in black. I held my tongue as she told me, son, fear is the heart of love. I never went back. Heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied. Illuminate the nose on their vacancy from Bangkok to Calgary, in the soles of your shoes, all worn down. Time for sleep is now. It's nothing to cry about. We'll hold each other soon in the blackest of rooms. Not sure how that part goes. Heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied. Illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you and your soul embarks, I'll follow you into the dark. I might try to record a little bit and then play it while I'm writing. Does that make sense? I think it does. What is up, people on the internet? Start writing or play more music? That's the question. Enough of that. I'm gonna do something really quick. Find something. Alright. You can see that. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, I remember. But I don't see it. The thing that I was looking for. Oh yeah. Seriously. Okay. So what I did, I recorded something. Desktop audio. Guess we need advanced audio properties. This is very interesting. Oh, I see. Okay. So now if I play it, okay, this doesn't seem to be working. What if I do this?
Continuity Drift, Wednesday, November 9th, Dancing Rabbit Eco Village, near.
Okay, cool. So I have some audio that I can play while I type, so you have not only something to watch, but something to listen to. I wonder why my movie isn't playing anymore. I guess it is. It's kind of weird. Oh, I bet because it's not. It has to be like active. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna turn my mic off to play this.
Rutledge, Missouri.
I don't know, it's probably okay.
Right by the labyrinth, which is.
Now you are getting out of the mic. Okay, I'm gonna turn the mic off and back on when I need to. You can listen to me from before.
And crypto is crashing. It's always crashing. continually. Algo's about 26 cents, down from 40 cents as a result of the collapse of the FTX exchange. And I'm out walking because I'm kind of attempting to do National Novel Ready Month. To enjoy things, even overdue tasks and responsibilities. The sunset is really amazing. There's just the red glow of the sun through the pine trees, the cedars, and then a glow, and then no clear delineation where the bottom of the cloud begins, and then the top of the cloud dipped in gold. I'm editing a novel, not my own. You can see the sauna and the pond on my left, and the plum tree. I don't think I'm run into anyone. My mind has these little checkpoints that it goes through, like landmarks that I recognize, and once spoken out loud, they become less likely to intrude. All I wanted was to be heard, played out. While editing this novel that is not my own, for a retired dentist in Bettendorf, Iowa, as a way of editing, and just to keep my mind occupied, I read aloud. And then, as now, I find the strangeness of this voice, the way that it carries forward and leans into things that I've memorized from past behaviors, other people. Here, it turns out that there's a different pool of linguistic memes to swim around. There's no one here that I can talk to. Long-legged strides of embattled humanist, let's say. And I don't know what the fate of these words will be in terms of broadcast. If it seems like it will be an interesting addition to my presence in cyberspace, then I suppose I could. I'm kind of looking at a huge locust tree right now. Not a huge tree, but the thorns, relative to the size of the tree itself, are quite impressively large. I'm also realizing I might have to turn back. I'm kind of at the edge, the very edge of the land trust. There's a fence, and if I remember right, this might be kind of a dead end. Singing to, sometimes, the voice that comes out of my throat, out of my lungs, seems not to be connected to any sort of real identity or mental processes or identification. Who is this? Where are these sounds? These phonemes And in order to retrieve the congruency between thought and breath, the way that they can line up and complement one another, where they can be like mountain climbers, one of them going a little bit farther and fixing points into the rock that then the other can use to ascend, alternating back and forth, the mental, the linguistic, the visual, the auditory. And the other thing that I'm kind of experimenting with, I suppose, which I've done before, is this braiding or folding of time, which you don't get as strong of a sense of when you're constantly moving and changing and worrying about the next step that your life is going to take, making some monument. Actually, it might connect. We will see. So, one possible result of the act of recording this is playing it tonight, later, when I am streaming. Is streaming necessary, though? Is it even beneficial? On the one hand, I might connect with people, grow my audience, form a larger online community where I interact with people other than crypto bros. There's another choice here. And this time I think I'm gonna go left rather than right. Even though that's not the way to escape a labyrinth. If I were to digitally try to draw kind of, and it's weird that I still think in those terms even though I don't have the capacity to do digital art really anymore. But if I were to try to do this, it's just like a lot of vertical strokes, a lot of these stems of, I don't know, Indian grass, prairie blue stem, turkey foot. So if I do that, and I am listening to this while streaming, maybe even with some music on top of it, I will also be writing. And the thing that I'll be working on, maybe I already am working on it if you're listening to this while watching words appear on the screen, and also a archive.org movie, is a kind of 6-part collection of different things that I either need to write or want to write. I'm called upon in one way or another to produce these words. The first chapter, the first kind of arc, is Dancing Rabbit. I described the theatrical production and adaptation of Moby Dick and The Mariner's Revenge, the Decemberist song. There's the textuality to voice. I think I'm going to take a picture of this tree. The leaves are so interesting. And I think I can take the picture while still recording this. My lens is dirty apparently. And go. So the leaves are like ghost leaves. There's just the thin, doily-like veined, transparent film, memory of a leaf. But yeah, I wanted to take a walk. I've been kind of inside all day. And while Bitcoin and algo prices were plummeting, the temperature has been rising. It's unseasonably warm. The high 70s. So, to bring myself back to the topic at hand, which is difficult for me to do sometimes, when faced with an attack of tangential arcs. I had a memory, for example, of walking and talking to myself, recording something for a stream maybe a year ago. You can hear the train in the background. And I walked past a hunting tent that was in fact occupied by one of my neighbors. So I don't know, I was talking about cryptocurrency or something, and he poked his head out of the tent. And there's gonna be, I think, some of those encounters, instances. It's like, yeah, undressing in front of windows. Not everyone who looks in is gonna have meant to be exposed to that level of kind of like intimate communication. But you have to understand, this is all related to my writing. And there's a way in which concerns of literary merit trump all other I don't know what the word would be. All other what? Considerations, criteria, qualities. So, in the same way that it is awkward for someone who thinks that they can sing or cares about singing in their voice, they might close their eyes and make mouths. I don't know, do things to indicate the extent to which they are concentrated wholly on channeling the thing they think needs to be sung or said, to the exclusion of self-preservation of their image. But it's also a weird question. Which image of me is more real, the one that I present to the people at the Eco Village, which is probably more reserved than the self that I kind of throw out on the internet in terms of the amount of information and personal minutia that I divulge. I don't know. I mean, ever since my mother died, there's been, it's like there was a record, a book, kept in some office somewhere, a permanent record, as in the Pink Floyd song. And then you find out that they expunge that or get rid of it or burn it, or maybe there was a fire at the data center. I don't know. A hacker attack. So the information, the book, the memories, it is gone. And without that anchor, and the other anchor, if I can try to remember where I was with that sentence, the other anchor is an academic record, which I assumed would be relevant and follow me through my career. But other than the fact that I have an advanced degree, my coursework, what I actually said, my grades before that, the schools that I went to, I was going to say that it's irrelevant, but I don't think that it is. My editing clients, even my friends, maybe you listening to this after I said that, there's still some juice in those wires of early programming circuitry. It's a decision point if I do a shorter loop or a longer loop. It's 5:10. It's still an hour before dinner. I'm kind of feeling this. I've been talking for 18 minutes. I just realized, if I do play this while I'm streaming, talking to myself, I could stop it, have a whole conversation. So by this point, hopefully, I will have written a page or two. I think I am just going to go balls to the wall. I don't know why that phrase just popped into my head. Go all out, go all in. Although I've said this before, thinking that I'll just go on these marathon bouts of typing in my thoughts onto the keyboard without worrying about things like caffeination or hydration or sustenance, taking breaks, stretching, reading my book, doing the other things that I'm supposed to be doing. I might not play poker tonight. If you are watching this and it's still Wednesday, that's probably what happened. And if you're not hearing it on Wednesday, I don't think, I'm probably not going to use this. It has to be in the moment. Alright, so metaphorical synesthesia. Similar to how, to Daniel, massaged kale tastes pink. And as an aside, I think the content of the chapters, oh yeah, they do need to be segregated though. Until the second part. So yeah, let's have 12 chapters. 6 different stories, just beginning and end. There's a lot from the comedian novel that I forgot about. I'm like kind of remembering. I'm trying to plot that out. But that is not the chapter that I am working on tonight. This is interesting. Just getting more and more lost here. Oh, it's gonna get dark. I'm gonna be out here walking in the dark, I realized. Maybe this is a bad idea. Oh, whatever. It's gonna be a full moon.
Let me just mute that really quick and say hi if anyone is joining me on the stream. I'm working on writing 50,000 words. I won't flatter myself by calling it a novel. For National Novel Writing Month. Oh, and you're gone. Cool.
I know I sound kind of like an idiot. I'm having long pauses, but I'm actually like thinking about which way I need to go here. I'm wondering what that super bright thing is in the sky. What if this was capturing the very last moments before some meteorite strikes Earth or something? It was weird. It looks almost like a comet. Like a line, a little line. It's probably just a distant plane. Which, not chemtrails, but you know, the regular ones. Contrails. Black paper. No, it's not paper. Would it be a cutout? Maybe like black string. Black, like, I don't know. Yeah, it was just like scratchy lines of ink. But solid black. Silhouetted against. Now already the colors of the sunset, which are muted. Now already muted colors of the sunset.
Oh,
Now already muted colors of the sunset. Glad that you are on this walk with me. I'm in a house now, rather than just a room without immediate neighbors, so I can be a little bit more noisy when I'm at my computer. So maybe I will, I don't know, every time I start doing something, I start kind of like wondering how seriously I'm going to do it and telling myself these stories. So, you know, maybe I'll stream, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll write 50,000 words, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do my required duties for Spindle, maybe that will also fall by the wayside. Maybe there will be acrimony, recriminations. Maybe she'll take me to court. I did sign that document after all, operating agreement. Everything is related to everything else. That is my skill, the one thing. It's my jam, my trademark. I don't know. The ability to fall into associations. This flock of birds going by. The algorithms for their spatio-temporal maneuvering. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I'm so glad I decided to come for this walk. I'm glad that I decided to take my phone and talk into it too. Usually people think of devices as something that people bury their noses in and lose themselves, constantly looking down at it. But there's also uses like this where I just have the recorder going. I am able to have a conversation while looking at the sunset, even though no one is physically here, and know that should I say something or do something or for whatever reason produce some kind of vocalization that seems worthy of commemoration, then I could chop up this MP3 file, put it with music, put it with video. I could delete enough memory from my phone to be able to do new videos. Okay, I need to take another picture. It's just too beautiful. Just too beautiful. Alright, so from metaphorical synesthesia, then to where? To maybe doing the presentation for the bounty, the Algorand bounty, for the hackathon. How weird the pandemic time was for me. Kind of just like went deep into some other life that I found on the internet. And coming out of the pandemic in that period of my life, I don't necessarily want to move away from that, apart from that. Because okay, there's just like a Jeep that rode by that has a red, like lit up with red lights, LEDs, a American flag on the back of their either Jeep or pickup. I couldn't really see. Very interesting. So this chapter needs to have a focus, and the focus is what I'm going to publish in the open weft. How about this? Tie it into the landing pages. Where are you going to land? Landed pages. So yeah, I can talk about the other writing that I've been doing. Maybe bring in the conversation that I had with Alice today. About being in an eco-village like this. You have the opportunity to actually serialize productions. In other words, do different parts of them at different times to spread them out, and even have that be part of like the writing process, the composition. How cool would it be to have an acting troupe that writes the next part of whatever play it is the audience is watching, week to week, month to month, year to year? Have legends, stories that are retold, little imaginative episodes. There's cows a long way off. I could just put something about this walk into the novel. I wonder, there are people whose opinions that I care about, but I also only really care about their opinion if it is based on as accurate of a picture, not accurate in the sense that I would immediately reveal all of my worst qualities along with the best ones. I don't think anyone expects people to always adhere to that level of honesty. But the kind of honesty that I'm talking about would be where you have a sustainable persona. Where I don't just go on one date with a person or am on stage for an hour and do this thing after I've worked myself up to a pitch, naturally or artificially. But then, like, off stage, you're drained of all of that energy, that life force through around the towel, and you're just kind of like a husk of shell. There are people who aren't boring. I'm sure they're not boring. I'm sure their inner mental lives are fascinatingly complex, but boring in the sense that they don't or can't give a lot of themselves through conversation or some other form to other people. I don't know if this would work its way into the book, but it was an interesting conversation I had with someone where they were talking about different languages, like music being a language. I paused, by the way, because I just felt this, like, warm current of air. Like, it's actually kind of a cool night, but then it's like when you're swimming and you walk through, or swim through some water that is warm, because it's been like in the sun maybe more than somewhere else, or maybe fish peed in it, I don't know. But I just had that experience with air. Oh yeah, boring. Am I boring? Do I find people boring? Do I necessarily need to keep myself from sounding boring by speaking more quickly than my thoughts can actually keep track with? Or is it the kind of improv thing where you're belaying, you're handing something off, where if I just talk faster than my mind can keep up, then my mind will gradually learn to produce things, just like muscles can be trained to lift heavier and heavier weights. Maybe my lips and tongue and neurons can be trained to perform at faster and faster speeds. If only I require them to do so by pushing the boundaries of the speed. Anyway, I am the mold of my personality, and probably the scope of my ability. Not the things that I will actually write, and the quality of those things. I think that's still very much up in the air. I could take my life in a direction that I just don't value, or don't need the public affirmation of having something, a text read by people. You know, before she died, my mom read the fantasy novel that I wrote. And in some sense, I don't think that fantasy novel was that great, but in another sense, I think it said everything that I need to say. And maybe it is losing faith in the idea that something that I write could impress someone sufficiently that they would want to, I don't know, be with me just on account of my prose. I'm at another fork in the road, so to speak. Left or right? I feel like this left one, well, the direction that I want to go might not actually lead anywhere. On the other hand, I'm approaching, I think, this place where there's like a cutoff, and you have to go one way rather than another, or you'll end up by this old windmill in a pond. Seems kind of familiar. Alright. I really hope I don't get lost. Well, if I do, this could be an interesting recording. Batteries probably wouldn't last too much longer. Yeah, and I think I might be going exactly the way I described that you shouldn't go. But that's alright. Okay, so I've got comments on metaphorical synesthesia. Go to maybe having witness sign paperwork, and then go to the hackathon. And then explain that I'm writing this for the Warp and Left zine. Yep, I totally am at the place that I should not have walked to. Okay, going back. Actually, maybe you can go around here. Do I want to try that? Fuck it, let's do it. I'm gonna go forward. Oh no, I'm certain this is not the right way. Or am I? thing that I wrote after Crypto Drift, the novel, is... Yeah, no, there's no way out from this. Okay, I've got to go back. So then I wrote What Happens Next, which I started the first kind of intro. I talked about running or walking these paths I don't remember and getting lost, and I've walked them many, many times after that, enough that I should, even in the semi-darkness, know my way. So, why Spindle? And this is where I can prove the usefulness of writing. I mean, no one argues that writing, if it's nonfiction, isn't going to be useful. Of course, you want to describe things and explicitly say what your goals and I don't know. Okay. Do I need to fictionalize it to make it more like a novel? No, I don't think that I do. I just had a whole thing in my head, sorry. But with this, so there's the metaphorical synesthesia, and the other thing was the improvisational ethos, where you just put a lot of stuff on the table without worrying about how it's going to fit together, what it's going to mean. Oh, this is so weird. This has got to be the way. I might be going back the direction that I came from on a different route, in which case, R.I.P. me. I think it's okay though. All of which, I guess, is to say that I'll figure out what this book is supposed to be like once I start writing it. And I do have faith that my writing voice, if not my speaking voice, is sufficiently engaging to warrant someone taking the time to read it. And people reading it are going to be people that are involved in Spindle. And that's the main, I guess, reason, hook. Because it's like I'm turning the novel form more into something like the small-scale theatrical production, which is what I said in the introduction. So, if you're hearing this, or once I type it, if you're reading this, you can work with us writing fiction or making NFTs. And what I want to do... Yeah, okay, so draw parallels between the theatrical thing, Moby Dick, and Spindle. And the through line is maybe local sources of nutrition, information, whatever, locally sourced literature. kind of a good, catchy thing. Local literature, locally sourced literature. Other through lines. I mean, I don't know if I want to put this in a book. I'm hesitant to even say it out loud, but in both cases, it's not a foregone conclusion that the community will survive this inflection point crisis. Crypto markets are crashing. Algo is not pegged, but correlated loosely through liquidity pools with the algo. And it also might just dwindle from lack of participation, energy. I could talk about the D&D game too. Link that with my previous life. I forgot that I was recording for a while. Here's approximately the course of the thoughts that I was having. I was thinking about Spindle and the D&D campaign that I did with Adventures in Cardboard. First, tying that into the D&D campaign that I just had. And then I started thinking about Codeverse 2 and what kind of a job that was. And then I started thinking about the video game.
Alright, I'm starting to kind of fade. I've been at the computer a lot today. But I went on the walk that you were listening to. It was good. And revisiting it, hearing my own voice, I could kind of see the stuff that I looked at on the walk again. This is my life. And I can't both want to be a writer and also kind of like not be comfortable sitting down and spending time writing with my words and thoughts and things that I put onto a screen. So yeah, experimenting with different things. I don't have a lot. I'm not going to get 50,000 words, but this is something. Alright, cool. I will, catch you later.